Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness. Aye, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention, education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benskop upon the radio.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su.
Hawk?
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%. Get your give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base. Then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up. You done fed up. He done fed up. She done fed up. We done fed up. The people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows. One set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up. You done fed up. He done fed up. She done fed up. We done fed up. The people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up.
Yeah, my name is Jasmine Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cop, and what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
How we gonna do a body man walk right now? You ready? Fuck, so let me go now. Hear me sing now. Body walk. Body walk, body walk, body walk, truck, body walk, body walk, body walk, everything, body, listen, body jump, body jump, body jump, everything, body jump, body jump, body jump, body jump.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, yes, he is a friend of ours.
All right, let's start right off the bat to say that Brutus has decided that all of the constitutional motions filed, one against Anil, The next one against, what was it? The acting commissioner of police, the minister of the installed minister of home affairs, and all manner of things. And so Brutus decided right after he got bail, and his driver got bail, his wife got bail, some other person got bail. Well, the driver, we were told he didn't get bail, or he was allowed to leave sometime around 11 o'clock at CID headquarters. He claimed that he had a problem, his heart, all sort of things. And so his colleagues just allow him to go and say, just go. And however, he was able to go by his friend and uplifted about $200,000+. And then his friend, we can talk about that some other time though, right? Not everything we got to talk every single night right here, because we don't want their bumps to be raised at this point in time. And so we'll allow that to slip for now. Anyways, those of you who haven't shared the link, can you share the link? We don't beg you guys to share the link at all. One of the things, and especially as we approach elections time, one of the things you guys have to do, and I repeat, one of the things that you guys have to do is share the link. And not only to share the link, certainly not only to share the link, right? Not only to share the link, some folks, they have all day to say hi to you. And then as soon as you get on the air, that's when they remember that they need to order some wigs and some lipsticks and so forth. But please tell Jagdeo that we're not open for business at the moment. I know he wants to prepare for the cathedral and so forth, but when the show is over. So share the link. Also encourage. Thank you so much, Rajin and others. Encourage your friends and others and so forth to like the page, the Ben Sharp Radio page. Right, Peggy Elias, right, Joyce Prince, and all of you. Encourage it, because we don't want to be stagnant. We don't want to be just a couple thousand, 50,000, 60,000. As we approach elections time, we want to be able to build this page and build our platforms to over 150, 200, maybe 500,000 people. Y'all take the time to share links belonging to people and page belonging to people that don't like y'all. Page that are 100% pro PPP. Why y'all doing that to yourselves? Y'all run on those pages, y'all share them and all sort of things. And every single time, we got to beg you guys, share the link. Share the link. This link should have been shared over 400 times already. Well, let me just break this down for you guys, because that's what the PPP guys do, right? They share it. Y'all only want to come, sit down, fold y'all foot, and just listen to the show. But we appreciate you guys being on with us. Don't get me wrong. Rastaman, I hope you're sharing the link. I know you just learned the other day how to share the link. All of you guys, share the link. I'm going to sit here and wait until you guys share the link. And in order to get notifications, you got to click on like, you got to follow Ben Sharp Radio page. You've got to follow the page. If you do not follow the page, then what do you think is going to happen? Right, Chisel Chipepper, 68? How are you guys doing? I know we have a lot of things to talk about, lots and lots of things to talk about. I know you guys are probably, Tony Hawk, don't come on and just calm down, Tony Hawk. Let's be calm. This is where we are constructive, and we know when we are constructive that Jagdeo bumps is raising. They are running scared. All of them are running scared. However, Jagdeo is running scared, and I'll tell you guys why. I'll tell you guys why Jagdeo is running scared. He knows that his back is against the wall. And when I say his back is against the wall, I really do mean it. Now, the operator, I don't know. This happens to be, let me see if any one of you can, none. This is not Jagdeo. This is not Queenie. This happens to be one of the pro-PPP guys, Lennox Schuman. Can somebody say where Lennox Schuman is? And we know the folks that Jagdeo loves to be surrounded by, right? And so Schuman, you guys remember how Schuman started off, right? Schuman started off hot and sweaty, hot and sweaty. Bang, zoom, he disappeared off the scene. So you've got to be careful with individuals, especially coming around elections time. They're gonna walk around in your community. They're gonna do all manner of things. They're gonna try to say that they like you, they love you, and they're gonna represent you, and all manner of things. And then as soon as they get a little position, whether they rig the elections, whether they're installed, guess what? They disappear from off the scene. There's no longer any interest in representing you, the people. And so Schuman has turned his back on all of you, because that is what you call a perfect example of selfish politicians or so-called politicians. All right, so what else is happening that you guys want to talk about? I'm sorry that I had to show you guys that photograph of Schuman, because he really worked his way straight into the arms of Barra Jagdeo. He worked his way for a position. He worked his way all the way on top. And they selected him as deputy speaker. So he worked. He really worked. But let's not get into that anyways. Let's wiggle out of that right now and deal with this. Overseas-based Guyanese eligible for 100,000 cash grant. Now, I've had some people calling me and asking me for requirements and all. I don't know that. This is, and the leader of the opposition is correct. This, and some of you who have been commenting about this as well, this is all about a corrupt scheme. Now, it is all well and good if individuals, I have an issue with this here. If you are not registered to vote, you have been out of Guyana for all these years. It should be for residency. And you should prove your residency over the past year or 2 years or 3 years or whatever. You can't just leave it open just like that, because it is a recipe for corruption. It is a recipe for corruption. And what Jagdeo, they basically want a corruption on the part of the PPP, mind you. Everybody wants a little small piece. But you're telling me you are on Flatbush Avenue right now. You've been here for over 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Oh, man. Oh, Rockwell Gentle. Y'all still want a little $400 back in Guyana? Emphasis, and don't get me wrong, everybody wants a little top up, right? But the PPP has no plan. They have no plan at all. And so when they say for overseas-based Guyanese, they are going to get probably thousands of Guyanese who don't have real ID cards, and the PPP, they will start to distribute. Maybe that's what the Guyana Consulate in New York will do. Maybe that's what the Guyana Consulate in Canada will do, and so forth. So y'all read between the lines. This is a recipe for corruption. And what Jagdeo, they're basically doing, they're going to count the amount of persons who have signed up for this 100,000, this 460 cash grant or whatever it is, right? And they are going to get that database. with that database, they will submit it to GCOM for corruption. And suddenly you will hear, or you will see that there's 50,000 persons more registered to vote. Jagdeo is using this basically not only to corrupt the process, to milk money, but they're using it to rig the elections. I repeat, Jagdeo is using this to rig the elections. They are preparing to rig the 2025 elections. As we would say in Guyana, if you don't dep on your medi, they want to rig the elections. This is not about giving 100,000 Guyana dollars. Do you think Jagdeo, who might be somewhere, with who, suddenly cares about you guys in Brooklyn, in Queens, in Long Island, in New Jersey, in Atlanta, in Connecticut, Massachusetts, right? Massachusetts, mind you. And so do you think he really cares about you guys? No, it's all about corruption and corruption and corruption and more corruption, guys. That is what this is all about, corruption. So do not be fooled when they're doing these trips and going over to Brooklyn and Queens and talk about the NIS and old age pension. Look what they did with the old age pension. Let me just give you guys a quick example. They came up a couple of months ago and they said to the people over there in New York, and they said to the people in New Jersey, come on, we're having an outreach for NIS. And for those of you who want to get your pension back in Guyana. So they collected your names. They claim that they're going to get you ID cards and all these sorts of things, and they're going to get your pension books and whatever. And then they took that database back to the Ministry of Social Services. And guess what has happened? I bet if you have a family member or a friend who has gone out there, they're still waiting for their pension books. They're still waiting for their documents. Meanwhile, the PBPC, they're spending millions of dollars for these outreaches, millions upon millions of dollars. And guess what? You're not getting anything. All you're getting is frustration and headaches. That is what you are getting. Nothing more. Absolutely nothing more. So do not trust Jagdeo. I repeat, do not trust Jagdeo. Do not trust the PPP. It's all about corruption. That is what it's all about. What else is happening in your neck of the woods? We already told you guys about the corruption, right? And this cash grant stuff, it's all about corruption. They're going to suddenly find about 200,000 outside of those who are living in Guyana. They're going to find 200,000 more Guyanese. They're going to create fake ID cards and pass it through the system at GCOM. Now, some folks over here, some senior folks, I'm told, over here, whether in Washington or wherever, and some diplomats, high-level diplomats, I'm told, mind you, nobody told me anything, but I heard through the grapevine, that they understand that, in fact, Jagdeo knows that those people are aware as to his methodology or methodologies in rigging elections. They got a hold of that in 2020 elections because, of course, you all know the 2020 elections were rigged. It was community know the elections were rigged, and as a result of rigged elections, the PPP was installed. So don't let Jagdeo or any one of them in the PPP, and forget about Dominic Gaskin. Doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense. No end point in the direction of the coalition, but he's just bitter. He's just upset. For God in heaven knows what a man upset about. But let's stay on track though, right? Jagdeo and the PPP, of course, they rigged the 2020 elections. And we constantly break it down for you guys here on 107.1 FM as to why they rigged the elections. They know they've rigged the elections. Notice they're no longer asking for SOPs, right? Notice they're no longer concentrating on the elections petitions. And even when the elections petitions were very fresh, ripe, the PPP ensured that they moved against the court aggressively in order for the elections petitions not to be heard. These are the same people who were saying, elections petition, show me your SOPs. When was the last time you heard them show me your SOPs? When was the last time you heard them about elections petitions? Because they're done with that. They're no longer interested in that because they know it was just a facade. They know it was just a game. And so on the night when they stormed GCOM's headquarters, it was a plan because they've already rigged the spreadsheets. They knew how to rig. And folks from the international community are well aware of how Jagdeo has been, according to information, mind you, how Jagdeo has been rigging the elections. He has been rigging the elections. Anyways, so this time around, he is aware that he's no longer liked and that the folks in the international community may very well be fed up of him. They're tired of him, not just of they're tired of him and the corruption, because every day allegations upon allegations of corruption. And so that is what this whole 100,000. You're not hearing from the guy who is supposed to be the minister of finance, as Guyanese and others say, finance. The so-called minister of finance, Ashni Singh. You're not hearing from him. He's not the one who's out there arguing these points. It is always Jagdeo. Everything he's an expert in. He's an expert on castor oil, coconut oil, baby oil, Johnson & Johnson oil, cod liver oil. All the oils he's an expert on. Nobody else gets a chance to speak. None of the ministers get a chance to speak. All of them have to go through this snake oil man. Every single one of them. This snake oil man, this cathedral oil man, whatever it is, everyone has to go through him. And that's how he's running the country right now. But earlier I did say that his back is against the wall. He's afraid. He's afraid of going to jail. He's afraid that he can't make it in jail. And mind you, he doesn't have to be in jail to be a queen. Read between the lines. Take a hint. But he's afraid of going to jail. He knows that someday he cannot avoid jail. With the massive corruption in Guyana and the stealing of your wealth and your tax dollars in Guyana, it is a high possibility that Jagdeo will be in jail. I repeat, Jagdeo will be in jail. Now, I don't know what Brutus has on him, but he did say that he has files on Brutus. I hope Brutus has files on this vagabond. I really do hope Brutus has files on this vagabond. But how the way things going, Brutus started off hot and sweaty with constitutional motions against Anil, against this, but against that, and then suddenly, after the court matter is finished, Brutus is back home and everything. Brutus is now happy a little weight off of his chest, Brutus said, no. He's not going to follow through with those constitutional motions. And let me say this to you guys. Many of you already know. The fact that Brutus withdrew all of those court matters against the installed government says a lot as to where the case is going to go. In my opinion, Brutus is not going to just go to court, out on bail, walk out, everything okay. The SWAT team was called over by his house. Irfan Ali, probably it's got to be Irfan Ali, defy Jagdeo's order and remove the SWAT team from Brutus's apartment in police headquarters. Okay, so after that, I'm not sure if Brutus had a conversation with Irfan, but the only person could have removed SWAT members from Brutus's house was Irfan Ali. And so I'm just trying to put the puzzle together, right? This sudden withdrawal of those constitutional motions filed by Brutus against Anil and the installed regime and so forth. I'm just trying to put two and two together. So this may very well lead, of course, they want Brutus off the force. Brutus, along with his lawyers, might be saying, look, okay, fair enough. If you want me, I'm going to resign. However, I get to keep all of my pension. I get to keep every single thing. And if you want me out of the headquarters, the apartment, I am out of there. But I also need my accounts to be lifted. I need access to my accounts. And that is going to be the sort of deal between Brutus and the people who have turned their backs against him. Anil and all those folks. So that's just how I'm reading into this situation. I don't know how you guys are reading into it, but that's just my opinion. Again, I just repeat, it's just my opinion. I don't have to be right, at least not all the time, right? Okay, what else is happening? Let's head back to this bank account. Obviously, Jagdeo is running scared. He doesn't want you guys to know that there's a possibility that he has a hefty bank account in China. And that is why at his press conference, or so-called press conference yesterday, his bumps raised. And instead of standing up like a man, difficult to do, but instead of, even if he had to pretend and stand up like a man and respond to the question, whether he has a bank account in China or not. I want to ask the same question again, and we will continue to ask the question about whether it is true that he, Jagdeo, has a bank account in China with billions of US dollars, his tax dollars. And this can get him in jail for about 25 to 40 years in jail in a US prison. He knows that. And so again, I wish to repeat, and hopefully the ambassador, Guyana ambassador to China, maybe he instructed her to tune in. I'm quite sure he had a conversation with her over the past 24 hours on this very matter. Ambassador Shu, should say whether she is aware of Jagdeo and a bank account in China. Ambassador Shu, again, I'm asking you the question, whether you are aware that Jagdeo has a bank account with billions of US dollars in China. And that is why Jagdeo got so upset. So upset, it's like he got, you notice in Guyana, we say you get ning ning. So he got bazadi. For those who don't understand and those who might be watching and taking notes and so forth in the US. All right. Bazadi means that you got confused. You couldn't take it. You got confused. And so instead of answering the question directly as to whether he has a bank account, and I repeat, a bank account in China, and trust me, I know he knows why he's upset. So he just jumped to frivolous, nonsensical things. That's all. That's all. And that is why that was a dead giveaway. A dead giveaway. We all knew that something wasn't right. We all knew that something wasn't right, and that, as Jamal Aziz says, the truth really hurts. And the truth hurts him. And any one of you who understand or probably study psychology and all these things, you could stop, pause for a moment. His body language, his response, his facial expression, every single thing, dead giveaway. And so I'm putting it to you guys. And if Jagdeo wants to take me to court on this, let him go right ahead, because he'll have to produce the evidence. And we will also call, guess who? Guyana ambassador to China. And then everyone, both of them, well, I know the Ambassador Chu might not want to defend a thief and a liar and someone who is said to be a butcher in Guyana. And so if Jagdeo is of the view that I am basically not speaking the truth on this issue, well, he has every right to take me to court. And I'm saying this publicly. Jagdeo, I dare you to take me to court on this issue of whether you have a bank account in China or not. Stop pussyfooting. Stop running around. Stop hiding behind wigs. Stop camouflaging yourself with lipstick. Regardless of what you do, regardless of if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, then it's got to be a duck with wig and lipstick. And that's exactly what you are doing. Again, I'm going to reiterate. If Jagdeo thinks that I am slandering him in any way, shape, or form in saying or asking the question about a bank account in China, let him sue me. Not the sue that made allegations against him of bribery. If Jagdeo is so hurt and he thinks and he feels that I'm lying, of course I'm not, then let him sue. And when he sues, guess what? More evidence may very well pop up in court. Simple as that. So Jagdeo needs to come out and tell the Guyanese people the truth about allegations of him having a bank account in China with billions of US dollars. Billions of US dollars. I don't know why he's running from that. I don't know why he just cannot come out and tell you guys the truth. Now, this is the CIA director, Mr. Burns, Michael Burns, made a quick impromptu stop in Guyana. Right behind him there is a former U.S. ambassador to Guyana, Sarah Ann Lynch. But, I'm just assuming that the CIA director, if Jagdeo was ever close to the CIA director, Mr. Burns will look straight into Jagdeo's eyes, in his face. And guess what? What may have percolated in his mind, Mr. Michael Burns, the CIA director's mind, is like, I saw your files. I know your files, Jagdeo. I saw your files. We know your files. We know what you're up to. And I don't know if the CIA director may even say to him, well, not in words, but facial expression. And I also know about that bank account you have in China. So that's what got him upset. That's what got him upset. The bank account in China. It continues to get him really, really upset. So upset that he got really buzzed. What else is happening? All right. Remember, we told you guys right here on 107.1 FM about 4 days ago, 3 to 4 days ago, that Jagdeo, according to information, was interfering with this investigation. An ex-police guy was abducted. We are told that he was killed. On the said day, he was abducted from vigilance, taken to Buxton, and he was killed. And now they get drag line and these sort of things could dig deep. You know what I mean? Drag lines could dig deep. And so this ex-police guy was abducted and killed in Buxton. Now, according to information, Jagdeo intervened in this matter to cause the holdup of the investigations. I know Jagdeo again needs to come forward to say whether he instructed the acting commissioner of police not to proceed with the investigations. And the commander at that time for the East Coast, Parsram, Jagdeo needs to come forward. And this is what we have been asking for the past 3 days or 4 days directly. I mean, it was there for you guys to see. You guys were probably wondering, well, where is Benshop heading with this? And, you know, did Jagdeo actually pick the phone up and call Hicken and told Hicken, instructed Hicken? Now, it's let Hicken come forward. Hicken has been very quiet these days. Let him come forward because there might be evidence. And I wish, again, if Jagdeo feels that I'm lying, he can take me to court on this one too. If Hicken feels that I'm lying on him too, he can also take me to court on this one here too. And so after Jagdeo's back again against the wall, guess what? Against the wall, suddenly, because Jagdeo knew what was going on, Jagdeo knew that we were on to something right here on 107.1 FM. And so, according to a source, he ensured that he correct to make it look as though now there wasn't any interference. And so maybe if there's a court matter, if Jagdeo wants to take me to court, he will have to show his phone record, his log, how many times over the past 24 hours he called the acting commissioner of police, and what they discussed. He will have to show that. And so I'm suggesting that there's a high possibility that he, within the past 24 hours, he made contact with the acting commissioner of police to discuss the matter of this disappearance of this ex-policeman, Mr. Alexander, who has not been seen since May, I think the first week in May, sometime May 7th or so. He has not been seen since then and presumed dead. And so in order to correct and to say that he is doing something to camouflage this whole thing, guess what has happened now? So he, Jagdeo, may have instructed the police to instructed the acting commissioner of police to issue a wanted bulletin. Now, this matter occurred since May. They were investigating it since May. They have the CCTV cameras. They have everything. They know the persons, who were seen on the CCTV cameras since May of this year. Since May, it's June, July, August, September, October, going on November, almost 6 months. Jagdeo knew, senior police officers knew, of course Hicken knew, because they got the CCTV camera and they knew who the suspects were from day one. Why then, nearly 6 months now, why then you think they just deliberately didn't do anything about this matter? But after it was brought to your attention right here on 107.1 FM 3 or 4 days ago, and Jagdeo realized now that he is cornered. and that people have lots of files on him, he called the acting commissioner of police, instructed the acting commissioner of police, and this is how I'm putting the puzzle together, mind you. Hicken should come out and say whether he received instructions from Jagdeo or not. And so here is the wanted bulletin for Carvel Hitton, known as Smokey, and Mark Cromwell, known as Demon. No stranger, absolutely no stranger. So suddenly these wanted bulletins are out. But this is the same Jagdeo who said to Hicken, according to a source, said to Hicken, they got to do everything to cover this matter up. Suspend the investigation. Now, Jagdeo has to come out publicly and say whether that is his instructions. Those were his instructions to Hicken. And when he does that, then we will come to it with, maybe you never know, evidence. Maybe you never know. But I just want to bring it to your attention that suddenly they issue this wanted bulletin. Suddenly, 2 wanted bulletins. Suddenly. Read between the lines, guys. Read between the lines. Jagdeo is being cornered. Just as he jumped and he said that he has, what is it? Well, people feed him with information. He believes he's the only one people feed with information. He believes that he's the only one people smuggle information to. People smuggle information to others as well. Oh, yeah. They don't just smuggle wigs and lipsticks. They smuggle real things, information. But what Jagdeo is afraid of is what sort of information that were smuggled out of Guyana and to wherever. That is what got Jagdeo so concerned. So concerned that right now he is so jittery. His back is against the wall. He knows that he's cornered. He knows that he cannot avoid jail. And let's say if Jagdeo decides to take a trip to the United States of America. I'm just saying, mind you, because sometimes when you say these things, some little small French fries out in Borbies who are stealing taxpayers' money through fraudulent contracts, their bumps raise. One particular person, her bumps raise. All manner of things, jumping up, talking up on a page, and insulting, feel that they could insult poor me. It's like throwing water on dog's back, right? So all the insults and things, all I ask if just how the black man at honest religion, she disappeared. So those are the fraudulent set of people, and those are the ones who are running scared, extremely scared. Now, there's something else I want to touch on. It's Friday evening, right? We can touch on that. It's okay. It's okay. Now, remember Jagdeo suddenly now he becomes an expert on wigs and lipstick and all these sort of things, plugs probably, pouch expert, all these manner of things, right? And all these things are happening right underneath Jagdeo's nose, right underneath, right there at office of the president, Freedom House. A bunch of nasty things go on there, right? Okay, but let me just remind you guys, for those who don't know, we don't spread propaganda on this program at all. Check this out. Check this out. Tortola, Virgin Islands News. And this is about Kwami McCoy. Kwami McCoy was deported for alleged prostitution. Allegedly performing male prostitution duties in Tortola. Allegedly. Prostitution. Right? I hope Jagdeo is watching here. Prostitution. And other crimes. Y'all tag him right now and remind him of his Tortola queen. And this came out of the news. This is a quote directly If you Google Kwami McCoy deported, it will take you directly to the article. So this is not propaganda. So here's what the article says, and I quote, "Meanwhile, the 2010 immigration report laid before the House of Assembly named 5 persons who are on a stop list." A stop list, meaning that they are prohibited. They are prohibited from entering the territory because they were convicted in the judicial system of the territory or in any foreign jurisdiction. They are described as criminal non-belongers. Y'all tag Jagdeo on this. Tag him. And let him know that there are many criminals right next to him. Birds of a feather flock together. Now, this is a news. This is not propaganda. Hear what it says. The 5 names on the stop list are Guzman, Juan Manuel from Dominican Republic, out of territory. Look at the other name. I'm not sure if you guys can see the writing there, but the other person is McCoy Warren Kwame. You see, Kwami McCoy. That is Kwami McCoy from Guyana. Kwami McCoy, according to this report, was convicted in Tortola. Convicted. Serious allegations, prostitution, and other crimes. Again, let me read it for you. It says, meanwhile, the 2010 immigration report laid before the House of Assembly named 5 persons who are on a stop list, meaning that they are prohibited from entering the territory because they were convicted in the judicial system of the territory or in a foreign jurisdiction. They are described as criminal non-belongers. Criminal non-belongers. Yes, Kwami McCoy. Yes, Jagdeo. Criminal non-belongers. The 5 names on the stop list are Guzman, Juan Manuel from Dominican Republic, who was out of the territory when the conviction was handed down. Kwami McCoy from Guyana, out of territory. In other words, he beat out. Otherwise, he would have been possibly back in jail in the territory. So this is what is happening. And then after he rushed back to Guyana, he became a convict again in Guyana. Convict upon convict. And so these are the things that Jagdeo must pay attention to. But he's not going to do that. He's not. They love the quality of cheap lipsticks that they wear and the wigs. And so birds of a feather, wigs together. Birds of a feather wiggle together. We'll take a quick break and be right back with more of Straight Up.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%. Get your give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base. Then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up. You done fed up. He done fed up. She done fed up. We done fed up. The people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how we go set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fair with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows. One set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up. You done fed up. He done fed up. She done fed up. We done fed up. The people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how we evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clout. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector. But when it comes to them, they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barrett and Sue, cause I done fed up.
Dr. Barrett and Sue, right? And you think that country under Jagdeo, under the PPP, you think it's easy? You think it's easy? These guys have no moral authority. They have no people don't respect them. They're just a bunch of, if they don't solicit prostitution and all these sort of things, that is what they do. They are corrupt. If they don't have big fat bank accounts in China or wherever it is, they are corrupt. That is what they are about. And for those of you who don't know, Kwami McCoy has had his US visa revoked as well, after it came to light that he was soliciting sex from a little boy, a 14-year-old schoolboy. Those were serious allegations leveled against him. And on this tape here, of course, he denied that it's him. But all of you know that that's him. But he denied that that's not him. And listen to this here. And I'm just saying this to let you guys know that Jagdeo and Kwame and all of them, they have no moral authority. They're low lives. That is what they are, and should not be in any position there, in any position, and I do mean it, in Guyana.
Which is not like something I'm accustomed doing. It would be the first time for me.
Well, you need to demonstrate that what it is, because I think we have a relationship or we don't have
So, not a problem. Yeah. So, when possibly can we meet?
when possible.
Yeah.
Then you're the one who have to tell me.
Well, you see, I guess Friday would be a better day because my dad be going in the bush and the house will left for me alone.
Which house is that?
His home.
In London?
No, in Georgetown. So, the house will be for me alone. So I say you could probably come in the daytime and check before 4 or 5. In the daytime, somebody might come, my cousin might come in the night to sleep. They might come from London, I don't know. I guess so though, but it will probably be better in the daytime. 4 or 5. So that's why I'm telling you now, so you should possibly make time for that.
I'm not sure about data. I gotta work too. But I don't understand if it's that we have a relationship. What is it that you're afraid about? I mean, I can understand that. Yeah, there can be some thinking about something that is legal, whatever it is, but actually, I don't know. I really don't know. They had me, actually, this is one of the things that got me right now. I feel so frustrated.
Sorry about that.
So frustrated.
So what are you doing for the rest of your day? What do you plan to do for the rest of your day?
I have a meeting starting at 5.
Okay, how was your day so far?
I didn't have a good day.
Okay, talking to me would make it better.
Well,
I guess so. Really? Hello? Hello? didn't mean to hurt you.
Well, hello? Hello? Yes.
Now this one goes out to all them hard worker man who love the black bottle. Before and after hard work. Gimme, 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 gimme. I want a hard worker, a man that can keep up pressure in any kind of weather. I am me and I go do the work. Aye, Mr. Man, I ain't making joke. Give me hard work, run the clock.
All right, so McCoy has since denied all of that. And again, we all know the truth. Because the boy and his family came and they complained, his uncle and everyone, including his mother. And they complained to me. The matter was reported to Prime News as well. And the conversation was recorded directly through Kwami's phone at the office of the president. That is when it happened, and so Kwami cannot run or beat around the bush. I am making this public right now. And that is why I'm saying that regardless of what he would want to say, that that's not his voice, I am saying that that is Kwami McCoy. All right, so moving on, we're just showing you the type of individuals who are in government, so to speak, and pretend as though they're all upright and they are professional and they mean well. They're not. They're a bunch of dirty rags. Now, look, let me make this clear. If Kwami or Jagdeo want to do whatever they have to do at the back of underneath the cathedral in the nights, that's their business. Just do it and hide and do your stuff, right? But and this is not being homophobic here at all. People are entitled to their own lifestyle, and people should not be attacked as a result of their lifestyles, mind you. So let me just make that as clear as possible. However, you cross the mark, you cross the line when you interfere with little boys. You cross the line when you abuse little boys sexually or little girls sexually. You cross the line. And there are too many of these vagabonds in the PPPC regime who go around and they solicit sex from minors, whether little girls and little boys. We're hearing some sad reports, and I'm not sure how these things are not being smuggled to Jagdeo. That there are reports that little boys or boys who are working at DPI and NCN are fed up because the allegations are that Kwami McCoy is soliciting sex from them or is pressuring them for sex. These things are unacceptable. We cannot have that happening at all. And so we've got to call a spade a spade. And so these are the things that any real government will stamp out. Sexual harassment on the job. You have senior installed ministers soliciting sex from little girls, little boys, workers, and all these manner of things. They have to stop at some point in time. And people need leaders in a country who could focus on real issues, not leaders who are fascinated with certain things and that it is quite obvious as to what they are really and truly fascinated with. They just can't help themselves. Their bumps raised and they get ticklish and they allow wigs and lipstick to get to them and blind their vision on being professional. And those are not the kind of leaders, so-called leaders. They're not the kind of individuals that should be leading a nation. And let me just bring you guys to something at Queen's College. They had their anniversary the other day. Anything came out of it that we can remember other than a fourth former or fifth former just dancing? And don't get me wrong, it's good. Dancing, people must enjoy themselves. Young people should enjoy themselves too. But there are two things that came out of that Queen's College stuff. The little guy that was just dancing up to steel pan and stuff. And kudos to that little guy. And that is what an installed government minister shared. The Minister of Human Services. That's all they shared. The little guy dancing up, and that was it. What was the message? Other than that, the other message that Irfan Ali, installed Ali, the message that installed Ali sent, speaking to those QC students, old students, and so forth and so on, all he was talking about was rigged elections. That's all. This is a man who shouldn't be talking about fraud. This is a man who shouldn't be talking about anything, whether it's oil rig or a rig elections, because the students at QC and the past students are well aware as to who the riggers are. The 1997 elections vitiated, the 2001 elections questionable, the 2006 elections rigged, albeit they stole a seat from the AFC in Region 10. The 2011 elections, they attempted to rig it again, it just so they got caught. In 2000 and, well, the prorogued parliament, because that was in 2011, they prorogued parliament because Donald Ramotar couldn't govern as a minority president, even though they attempted to rig the elections in 2011. They got caught again. And so in 2015, they attempted, and I'm going to repeat this here, they attempted to rig the 2015 elections. That's when the coalition won by 1 seat. They attempted to rig the elections. But guess what? When they rigged the spreadsheet, and this is how they rigged the elections with their spreadsheets, right? I notice Laverne Joseph is saying 2015 they lost. Yes, they lost. But they attempted to rig the 2015 elections. So when they were monitoring the spreadsheets and they saw that the elections, the results weren't really going in their favor, that is when they realized something went wrong. They got caught. The folks knew what they were up to. And so Donald Ramotar, according to information, mind you, and Donald has to say whether it's true or not, but according to information, Donald Ramotar wanted to stop the counting. Someone pick the phone up and say, don't do it. Allow the counting to continue. But the reason why they wanted to stop the counting was so that they could fix the spreadsheets in their favor. And that's how they lost the 2015 elections. They attempted to rig the elections. And so to have Irfan Ali stand in front of some students and past students at Queen's College and talk about rigging and talk about fraud, this is a man who went to IFLAT University. There's no IFLAT University. This is a man who got his master's but claimed that he got his undergraduate, but can't say where he got his undergraduate degree. This is a man who collected his PhD from the University of the West Indies, but can't show where any evidence of his thesis or whatever it is. But all of these things that he claimed that he's accomplished, academic qualifications and so forth, yet there's no evidence that he is qualified for all of those things. This is a man who was charged for 19 fraud charges, standing in front. Smart people, smart young people, whether it's at QC or wherever, and talking about rigging and talking about fraud. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding. You got to. And then to use Dominic Gaskin as an example. Dominic, who might be bitter. He was Minister of Business and all, man. I don't know. What's happening? You're using Dominic Gaskin. Good night to you, Dominic. Oh, yeah. Mind you, you can place an order for wigs and lipstick, but do it through Jagdeo, right? Good morning to Dominic. This is a guy, or good night, sorry. This is a guy that they're taking seriously. Who might be bitter. The AFC might be bitter for whatever other reasons and all these things. Dominic Gaskin has no evidence. He has nothing to prove. But if he is honest with himself, he would say to you guys that the PPP rigged the elections. But Dominic Gaskin probably just singing for a little supper. And don't be surprised if you see him. Don't be surprised if you see him. Desiree Simons, don't. Desiree is asking if he did his GCE or CA. I'm not even sure already. And Tony is saying, Mark, leave out the 2020 elections because that toy soldier thrown in his towel and rings around. Again, it's easier for folks like Tony Hack to talk who throw in towel, who did this and who did that. If y'all really know what transpired, some of y'all beak might get soft. The PPP rigged the elections. And don't get me wrong, and a lot can be said about the elections, you know. In fact, something that I want to do before the next elections. And Tony Hack, my bums don't raise when you talk about toy soldier and thing, but a lot of y'all is just like talk, you know, and feel that it's just easy when the top were turned off. The foreigners already had their minds made up that it has to be elections change. They got to be regime change, sorry. Got to be regime change. Got to be regime change. And when there's got to be regime change and they turn the tops off on you and you can't do nothing, y'all just expect with 400, 500, 600 soldiers, people must just stay in power, right? It's easier said than done. I repeat, Tony, it is easier said than done. Now, if you guys get a hold of all this information with all the regions about the rigging of the elections, you will see that the coalition won the elections because of regime change. I repeat, regime change. And so it's the same people who installed them, will have to uninstall them. I'm told they're not liked at all. Jagdeo is just not liked at all. Tony Hack is referencing LFS Burnham. Those were different times. Times of change. Those were the Cold War era. Times of change. Read up on some books and political books and history, Tony. I'm not insulting you, my brother. I'm just not. But I know it's easier said than done. Stay in power. Stay in power. Stay in power. Y'all ain't easy. Y'all ain't easy at all. Do whatever it is. Stay in power. Do this, do that. Y'all be careful. Thanks to David Granger, they had a peaceful 5-year. Wasn't perfect, but way better than what we have now. I know how you guys feel, don't get me wrong. I'm just smiling because I don't want to tell you guys what I know or what I suspect. But I'm out of here. Wayne Caesar is on tomorrow, 7 o'clock. I'm smiling for a particular reason. For a particular reason. Not just about for Jagdeo to show up and say and talk about his bank account, allegations about his bank account in China. Again, I leave you with asking, I wonder what the CIA director, what he thinks of Jagdeo. Whether he does have a large file on Jagdeo, including bank account in China. I'm out of here, guys. I'll be back on Monday, same place, same time. But you guys can tune in tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Wayne Caesar. Be on with you guys. I'm out of here, guys. God bless you and have a beautiful weekend. So long.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Zhirong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah. There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Zhirong?
Su? Oh, so my relationship?
Yeah, my name is Jagdeo Francis Wakenham, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cup, and what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a
How old are you?
I am 28, sir.
And where do you live?
In Kitty.
You own your own home?
Not as yet.
Apply for a house lot?
Not yet.
Well, sit down. You're not participating on the enhancement of your own life. At 28 years, you should be making better life decisions. Think about it. Thank you.
Sit there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Sujurong?
So, oh, so my relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, yes, he is a friend of ours.